Transforming file-based media workflows with the cloud through powerful and user-friendly interfaces and automation is a powerful proposition. In our next session, discover how massive simplicity and speed facilitates the flow of petabytes of media seamlessly through the AWS cloud. Please welcome Majed from Massive and Matt Timpson from Synesys. Gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So my name is Majed. I'm a co-founder and CTO at Massive. That's us. Quick question here for everyone. Hands up if you know what S3 is. Okay. Keep that hand up if you're using S3.
Hand. Full hand.
Full hand. There you go.
Wake up. Full hand. Front
All
row.
right. Keep that hand up if you're using S3. Okay. Keep that hand up if you know what S3 stands for. Okay. First word of S3 is simple. What is simple? Simple what? Simple storage service. What does simple stand for here? Simple as in simple to use, simple to understand, simple to pay for.
Price calculate.
It is simple to scale. I think we'll all agree on that. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We'll go through. Anyways, I'm joined here by our partner in crime, Matt. So, Matt, for Synesys, maybe a quick introduction about yourself, what you do.
Yep. Good morning. Part of Synesys, we are a system solution workflow integrator here in the United States. We are all over New York City, LA, Austin, Houston, Atlanta, all over the place. And our job, and we'll talk about it a bit more later, is bringing all these solutions together holistically from start to end.
Awesome. So Matt is going to talk about what they did for one of our customers to solve one of their key challenges. That customer happened to be Amazon SPS team. So we'll know a little bit about that in a moment. So anyways, back to what Massive is. So Massive, we're a large file transfer platform. We allow easy movement of files from point A to point B. We are cloud-based, fully hosted on AWS. Very simple, effortless deployments for your users and for your end users to get files in and out from any place. We're secure, global service. Again, we're completely web-based, built on top of open standards. So, put simply, Massive is a platform that allows you to move files from point A to point B, where A can be a user, a machine, or a cloud, and B can be a user, a machine, or a cloud, through very simple tools like web-based universal uploader, all the way up to APIs, transfer agent, and everything in between. So, back to you, Matt. Give us an introduction, a little bit of what you do, what kind of problem you solve.
And grab the clicker. Again, Matt from Synesys. Thanks, everyone, for being here today. What I love about what we've done with Massive, and you're going to see even a demo of this, I love actually showing things actually working as opposed to showing slides. What we do at Synesys and what I'm very passionate about is taking 10 clicks to 2. We go in, we observe our customers, we see what's taking them forever. We try to find what the actual problem is, not necessarily the problem that they think they have, but the actual problem that is at hand. And so that's a bit about what we do as a company. We'll have more on that in a minute. But first of all, who am I? I love NAB. I've been coming here for a long time. I found this picture of me editing in Media 100 in 1997. Yes, very old. And then my first NAB, I came in 2000. So it's been quite a while being in this industry and observing everything from, again, the whole tape, the film scan side, all the way to moving into nonlinear. It's been a blast. But who are we as a company at Synesys and working with Massive? Well, what we do is simply this. If you like to run, I don't know who ran this morning. Matt, did you run this? No, you were asleep. He's sleeping this morning. But I was running this morning. And when I was running once in Florida, I saw this sign, and it was just so profound. And it says simply just to yield to the user on path. That's user experience 101. But so often as developers, so often as people who integrate, we forget this principle. And we wonder, why might there be churn? Or why might people not be using the services that we provided? It's all about yielding to the user and to the user experience. And so that's what we do as a company. But who are the users? Ooh, good question. Is it these guys? Oh, those are my bosses, Mr. Brent Engel, my CTO, and Mr. Mike Winkleman. Yes, he's a volleyball champion. He's right here in the front row doing autographs later. You can grab him. Those aren't actually the users. Is it these guys? This is a little sample from an event a while back. A lot of these guys here, we're getting a little bit older. Maybe to dye our hair a little bit. Maybe not them. I would proclaim that our users are actually these people. These are actually some of my friends. They're Gen Z, they're Gen Xers. They're buying slippers for some reason to wear to work. They're loading up their Leica film camera, and they're actually reading real books with their dog at a coffee shop. The Gen Z people, that next generation, are the users that we have to learn how to adopt to and how to present to. These are the users that are actually wearing a hat that, believe it or not, Mr. Matt Tape on the front row is wearing. They say make video horizontal again. But yet here we are reading and watching an Instagram video in tall. They're buying real typewriters. Why? Typewriter sales are through the roof. There's a shop here in Gramercy in New York City they're selling so many typewriters right now. I got one over Christmas, and people like them because they're simple, they're practical, they're easy to use. So this is what's happening in a trend in Gen Z moving forward. So what we do as a company, like I mentioned, we walk in, we love to sit down with the actual users. We, of course, talk to the executives. We then talk to management, but I love to actually get down and talk to the guys that are clicking the buttons and telling me what is taking you 3 hours today to do. We sit down, we listen to them, we come up with solutions, we talk to management, they give us a list of things a mile long, and we go off and accomplish it. So what's the problem here, though? One of our wonderful customers, Amazon, this is a division of Amazon that helps create a lot of the video content for any time that you need to buy something, and you're like, what is this? Let's watch a video about it. Well, this team helps produce all this. As you can imagine, there's more than just one product on Amazon. There's tons of stuff all over. That means tons of video content, tons of images. When I say tons, I'm actually meaning thousands here, not just hundreds. This stuff is being curated, captured, created from people from Gen Z, Gen X, everybody from all over the country. Codecs like you would never imagine. I think I discover a new codec with this team almost every single week. It's a lot of fun. New camera formats, but they're bringing thousands of files from all over the place. They need a simple way that they can gather all this content, drop it into a location, and then send it to our simple shared storage solution. I should know this. I love acronyms. So never use an acronym unless you can explain it. That's a good little business principle there. Yes, simple storage solution. They drop all this stuff through the S3 bucket and it needs to just work. So that is the problem that's kind of at hand. We're going to walk through that here in a minute. But imagine that. Again, you got filmmakers, shooters, photographers all over the country dropping files to you. How are you going to ingest all that? How are you going to manage that? And what are you going to do with it? Majid.
Thank you so much. I love the energy, by the way. That's better than the coffee I had this morning.
It's all about the running. It's all about the running.
Keep it up. Keep it up. So S3, right? At the beginning, there was S3. S3 is foundational to the internet, right? If it goes down, we all know what happens. Just stop working. So S3 is everywhere. It's so ubiquitous. It's powerful because it's easy to scale. I just turn it on and then we go, okay, I'm going to build my solution around S3. So everyone just builds a workflow that looks like this. There's every time you go to any AWS session, there's this diagram that has an arrow to the left and an arrow to the right. Get things into S3 and then things happen to the other side, right? You get them in and then you can index them, you can search them, you can encode them, transcode them. My marketing guy insisted I also say, run AI workflows on them. So, but then when we go, okay, we build this great solution, right? We as architects, as infrastructure teams, we go, and then just get the files in S3, right? It's easy. How do you get files in S3? Just get them in S3, right? Yeah. Install CyberDeck, FileZilla. What else is out there? S3 command or S5, right?
Terminal.
Or use a terminal. For our users, that's not simple. Not only that, even for engineers, they go, just use multi-part upload.
What's the chunk size?
Exactly.
Not the throw up.
Exactly. How do you upload a folder into S3? So when you just say, just get the files in S3, this is what your users really feel like. Ooh. Woohoo. Right? So That is what we at Massive are trying to solve, is how do you get files into S3, or for the matter, any cloud, any MAB, and make it easy for your users. And when I say users, I mean that end user, that Gen Zer you were talking about, but also your engineers, right? As to how do I build an uploader? How do I make it work? How do I make it on a web browser? So what we offer at Massive is what we call a universal file uploader that is web-based, plug-in free. You don't have to install anything. It is very fast. You can get up to 5 gigabit per second on a browser, or 10 if you use our optional app. It is relentlessly reliable. It will recover from any network condition. Computer going to sleep. We know that user started uploading, close the lid, and suddenly, oh, my computer went to sleep. I have to start over. No, we recover from that. It is uncapped, no limit on file size, file count. The beauty of S3, right? As unlimited scale. And it's customizable. I can customize it to any shape or form I like. I can add custom fields. I can capture metadata. And it's integrated. I can get it to S3. I can get it to Frame.io. I can get it to any one of 30 integrations we support and growing. And it's secure. TPN certified or verified. I'm supposed to be certified. SOC 2, ISO. We're also AWS partner. That means we went through the Foundational Technical Review, FTR, as well with the Amazon team. So obviously we have to have one of these slides. So this is what a usual architecture we see with Massive, right? Files get in from a user using the web app or our API from any other cloud. We can get things from any S3 bucket or Wasabi bucket, pick it up, or from local storage, on-prem storage, SAN or a NAS, or just a local workstation. We have, again, a lot of offerings to get the files into Massive. Once they're staged in Massive, we can get them into any S3 bucket you have, or any on-prem or in-cloud storage, block storage like EBS or EFS, for example. So this is what the actual experience look like. We are product-led. Any one of you can go sign up for a Massive account today. You don't have to talk to sales. We have a booth just right there. You can come talk to us as well later. This is what the experience looks like. This is how you can create one of these portals. You can create as many as you want, manually or using our API. And each one of these portals, you can go and customize the look and feel. You can connect it to one or many of the cloud integrations that we support with just a checkbox. Just send a copy here, send a copy there. And this is just a sample of some of the integrations that we support. I just couldn't get it all on one page because this page keeps scrolling. So yeah, and we are very developer friendly. So we have all the developer tools. You can build your own web page, put in our uploader into your own web page inside your login walls, or you can use our own. We have a desktop app and also a headless agent that runs on Mac, Windows, Linux, Docker, and then Open API as well. We're built on open standards, all web-based. We don't do UDP sort of custom protocols that, are throttled, very hard to user to use. They got to install things. We don't do any of that. We want to make it easy for them because the person that has the files is the person that has the pain, and we solve that pain for them. So with that being said, speaking of developers, you guys use that a lot. So I'll move it back to you. Let's talk about solution.
Going to the solution. You mentioned something that I thought was key, and that was the word metadata. I think that was like a theme of NAB maybe 10 years ago, like metadata was everything, right? Now it's AI, but we're not talking about AI here. Okay. That's how we're saying AI by not talking about it. But what we have for Amazon, for the team that's gathering, going back, if you remember, it's the team that's gathering images, photos, all sorts of content from hundreds of their filmmakers that are submitting everything. They're required to put in a couple fields, like the date of the shoot, maybe the project that's it attached to. All that information is metadata that's then going to come in with their Massive upload. It's very simple. They're not giving them 100 different fields to bring in. They're just giving them a few. So they're going to drop all these files in to the Massive portal, and then it's going to the S3 bucket, super fast, super accelerated. The next thing that's going to happen, it's going to drop into their media asset management system. They're using a Vitaspine-based system called Canamo, and I'll show you some screenshots of that in a second. And all that content is going to be automatically ingested into the MAM. The user is going to go in, one of the administrators or the media managers, they'll jump into a fresh panel that we wrote for Canamo and attach and staple the metadata that came in from that shoot. And then from there, they can quickly distribute and move content to their editing team at Amazon. So how does this work? What does this solution actually look like? I'm going to show it to you right now. So first, we've got the massive portal. We drag and drop in. I'm just dropping in a couple files here for my friends at Film Supply. They now go in and put a quick little description. To the moon. Ooh, that sounds cool. We're going to put in a date. What date are we putting in? The 15th. That was yesterday. And then we just hit a button. It's super fast, super accelerated, and that's it. Now the filmmaker can go home. They can go grab a drink and do whatever they want to do. An email is sent to the Amazon team knowing that everything has been transferred and everything is done. Now, let's fast forward. Actually, when I say fast forward, only like a few minutes, not even that far away. Because here we are in Canamo with our custom panel that we wrote at Cinesys. We open a refresh. We see some new clips here at the top left. And now let's import this massive package. We find the portal that they imported from. It tells us the clips that it found. And we literally just hit one button here and it applies the metadata. And immediately when I refresh the screen, we now have these 3 clips here that have the metadata attached to it, to the moon with the date. And I've actually got a little picture here in a second. If I hit the next slide, bam. It's got this little red border on me telling me that it's time to distribute this stuff based upon the metadata that came in. This was very, very fast. It took what would take someone going with a spreadsheet, maybe a bunch of sidecar files, many clicks to reduce it down to 2, which is what we did by just building this very simple, massive import tool for Vidaspine and for Cantamel. So that is what we do at Cinesys. For us, it's all about going to the moon for our customers. This is an integration that we literally wrote in 2 years? No. 2 months? Nope. 2 weeks. We put this piece together and made it scalable for the team at Amazon. And we're very thankful for working with the massive development portal. These guys were extremely responsive, making it easy for us to make responsive interfaces. And it was an absolutely fantastic experience. So check it out. Check out Cinesys as well, and some of the integrations that we've made to make things be very simple. Again, going from 10 clicks to 2 and taking things to the moon for our customers.
That's amazing. Thank you very much, Matt. So I really appreciate you coming over here and going over this. Question for you, like, what does it mean for the SPS team, like in terms of productivity gain or like kind of friction that was removed with this integration?
I am so glad you asked this. So previously, if you think about this, everything from a metadata side, they would have to go through all their stuff that was auto-ingested, look at the email from Massive with the metadata. They would have to go through and manually attach, maybe batch update the metadata for all these items, and then hopefully not mix it up with the other massive imports that may have happened throughout the day. So you can imagine, first of all, if you went and got coffee and came back and you refreshed, now you've got a bunch of other jumbled mess that you may not stamp properly with the right metadata. So we're first of all going to save efficiency, but we're also going to save the time that it takes to do that. So we're talking, several hours a week, for almost sometimes even a day, depending on the amount of content that's coming in. So this is a huge time-saving factor. It's not just saving clicks and preventing carpal tunnel, but it's actually helping the bankroll and making it easy to make the employees that we have be more efficient with the tasks that are at hand.
That's amazing. And we hear that a lot from our customers as well. It's just the time saving, the simplicity. We always hear that our customer success guys, when they get on a call, it just works. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the team at Cinesys built this almost entirely on their own. They just came back with a couple of feedback points. I remember I was watching a video. I haven't even met Matt. I was watching a video interview with him, and he was like complaining about creating the API key was just painful. And I go take that to the engineering team. Do you guys watch this? Yes. Okay. Web-based API key management. Done. 2 days later. And that's what we tell our engineering team. It is live 2 days after that video recording.
Thank you. That would have saved me several hours.
So that's what we tell our engineering team. Look, you join Massive, the first thing you do is you deliver into production in 1 week, right? And it's about us removing friction for you, because for you, you are a user too, right? And the beauty of that is we want our code to go out to solve real people problems. And the people we care about are your users. And your users, again, are the people who have the files, and they could just be that producer on set trying, or the DIT getting things out of an SD card onto wherever you want them to go, or your software engineer. We have a lot of MAM partners that use Massive exclusively to deliver into their MAMs, because they go, we know how to build really good MAMs. We want you to take care of the file ingest. And I only scratch the surface of what we can do with file transfer. So we said, web-based, but we also do, we have an optional app that gives you up to 10 gigabit per second speed, that gives you multi-connect or bonding, where you can bond multiple connections. And we see that in the field a lot for documentary shoots. You go, I have 3 or 4 Starlinks that I want to bond together. I don't have to buy extra piece of hardware, sign up for a VPN to get, book-ended transfers. No, just plug them in, use the app. We use software-based bonding. So you get all of that with Massive, plus a whole suite of automation tool. Watch folders, free. You want to do a camera feed live from with growing files, straight from camera into the broadcast truck, and then uploading while the event is rolling. By the time you're done, you shut off. You just go home. Don't wait for someone to come pick up drives, right? We do all of that and a lot more. Again, we're just right here. You're in
south. The number is, we are down south. We are in lower south, 6150, 3515, 6135. Just go south. We're towards the back of the South Hall. We'd love to come see you guys. Let's look for the gold. Look for the moon. I think it was a waxing crescent last night. Was it? I don't know, something like that. Just look for us. We'll be there.
All right, awesome. So yeah, we are just right here at the booth, at the partner booth, just behind GWB over there. So there's a lot more that I want to talk about. I have a few slides, but I figure we're also 5 minutes, so I wanted to open it up for questions. So any questions? And I mean any question.
Protests, pickets, snide remarks.
I've got a question for you, actually. So if I understand your architecture correctly, I believe when I'm uploading content, it needs to go through Massive first before going to an S3 bucket. Is that correct? Is that the approach?
Yes, absolutely. You got it. So we hear that question a lot, by the way, is like, okay, so files get to Massive, and then from Massive to Station House, we are fully on S3, and then goes to your S3 bucket. Why does not straight to my bucket, right? So the main reason is we optimize for the end user. So what we do is we overlay our infrastructure all over the globe. So we have buckets all over the globe. So we optimize for that first mile because their experience is very important. And then we can go build all this use all this cutting edge technology from S3 that allows us to go and do things like multi-connect, right? Which requires you to go tweak how your bucket works. We don't want you to deal with that. We want to give your user the best experience, right? So we optimize for them. So when files get to us, we overlay that. We have customers all over the world. So we are a global ingest. So imagine news broadcaster. Sadly, there's a lot of conflicts going on all over the world, right? People shooting on the field, they want to get files out. You don't want that to be slow. If everything is going to your bucket, and it's usually in US East 1, we're all guilty of that, right? And they're in Israel, they're in Gaza, they're in Egypt, they're uploading. It's going to be slow. You don't want that friction. We take care of that, right? So that is one of the key reasons. And then since we're doing that 2-hop, it adds a little bit of turnaround time. You mentioned a few minutes, right? We are working on eliminating that this year, where you will see it almost as if it's real time. So by the time it's getting to Massive, it is or done into Massive, it'll be done in your bucket. Now, one key thing I wanted to mention to that point as well is you'll see a lot of these point-to-point. A lot of you are probably familiar with Spare and Signiant. The uploader, the person who is sending files, is limited by your bandwidth where you're receiving. So if you have a sudden spike in requests, people uploading, they're fighting for that bandwidth on your premise, right? So their experience is now bad. With Massive, they don't have to deal with that because it gets to us. Each one of them can get up to 10 gigabit per second, no matter where they are. And then we're reliably deliver it to you. They don't have to wait for your availability, right? Because we make that happen. Great question.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions?
All is quiet on the Western Front.
Okay, then. So, Majid, Matt, thank you very much. Excellent session. Making the end user experience frictionless. Fantastic. Really enjoyable session. Thank you. So let's give them a round of applause, shall we?